Hey, 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 guess who? Surprise, surprise, surprise. Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining me this evening for episode number 25, the true story behind the movie The Good Nurse. Interesting movie, to say the very least. Quite a crazy story, folks. It's actually a story about a nurse by the name of Mr. Charles Cullen. Quite a story, folks. I'll be honest with you. Kind of scares you. It makes you wonder, who can you trust? Who can you not trust? Do you know what I know? You know I know. Like I said, guys, it is very interesting. I know the first time I saw it, it made me think twice about everybody and anybody in the medical field. Kind of creepy, folks. Kind of creepy. I'll be honest with you. So it is great to be back today. Thank you all of you that joined me today um, in the uh, this afternoon stream. Turned out to be a very successful stream. I loved it. And we got a lot of info out there. I appreciate it so very much for everybody that was there for that one, more than you guys know. So thank you all of you that were there. Let's see what we got everyone else. Looks like Miss Kiki's here. Good to see you, Kiki. Thank you for joining me. Miss Brandy. Miss M, thank you so much for being here. Oh, is that Pink? Welcome, Pink. Good to see you. Strike first, little brother. Good to have you here. Miss Cece, the sweetest lady on the internet. Thank you for joining me tonight. Or what's happening, sis? Good to have you here. Always a pleasure. I think that is about it. Let's see here, Pink. Where are you? Here you are. I'm trying to read your comment. All right. PPR is in the house. Dustin, what's happening, my brother? Good to see you. Good to have you. Let's see. What did you say up there? I was trying to read that. Come across a few scary nurses. ER total power trip. Absolutely. I mean, as long as you can handle yourself, Pink, I think you can handle it, right? Banana Man's in the house. That is correct. And looks like Mikey's here. Welcome, Mr. Mikey, my brother. Thanks for coming back tonight. Appreciate it. Congratulations, Pink. I hope you are comfortable and happy with it. Absolutely. And thank you for just being part of the community. And I will understand, but hopefully you can hang loose. So I'm going to show you guys a trailer for the movie, give you a little clip on it. That way, like I said, if you choose after the story tonight to go check it out, you can definitely do that. Again, guys, let me know how the audio is. Here we go. And there it is, everybody. The Good Nurse. Like I said, it's a pretty good movie. I thought it was good. So tonight, I am going to tell you the true story. Jago strikes me more of a godfather figure. He's already committed to be the godfather to old busting mannequins Bambino. Yep. There you go. You guys are a trip. Good to see you, Sherry. Thanks for joining us tonight, hon. And again, guys, for all of you that were here this afternoon, I appreciate you guys so very much. Welcome, Drift. Good to see you, brother. Good to have you here. So, that being said, give me a moment here to get this up and rolling, everybody. Puppet Master without my can. Oh my God. PPR, whatever. You're a mess. You're a trip. So let me see here. I got a couple pieces of info to show you guys tonight on this. I hope you guys are ready for it. What do we got here?
States, and you?
Okay.
Instead of tending.
All right. Hold on, everybody. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. I'm taking me a minute to get this set up. For some reason, it's stalling out on me. Come on. And the amount of people that this guy, he's considered a serial killer. Allegedly, based on every bit of info that we've gotten off of this guy, allegedly this guy killed over 400 people, folks. 400. 400, not 4, not 40, not 14, 400 people. It is complete and pure insanity. This guy has got to be one of the most prolific serial killers I've ever seen in my life. So, oh, really now? I see what you're saying now. Pink is telling you that she is now a moderator, Mama Bear. All right. Again, 400 people, folks. That's a lot. A whole lot. Okay. All right. So, like I said, guys, 400 peoples. That is so much. That is so much. So much. Alrighty here. Let me get this set up for you guys all the way up. Here's some subtitles. Well, absolutely. Pink gets to join the Discord. She is now a moderator. All right, folks. And we are off again. Let me know how the audio is on this, please. And if there's any issues, qualms, problems, or anything.
All have to deal with hospitals. Everyone at some point in time in their life puts their life in the hands of others.
Killing patients. Instead, some use their power to kill them.
I was contacted by Somerset Medical Center.
Guys, they must not have caught. Sorry, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let's try this again. Okay, let me know.
And related well to people he worked with, although he sort of seemed like an underdog to even the people who liked him.
I'm Dr. Catherine Ramsland. I'm an expert on serial murder, and I wrote a book about healthcare serial killers. Cullen was a late life child in an Irish Catholic family.
Now hot on Cullen's trail, investigators question the person closest to him during his 5 years at St. Barnabas.
During the course of our investigation, I actually spoke to his wife. It did not appear as though she was surprised by our looking into his suspicious activity. She was aware of the internal investigation at St. Barnabas.
Me.
Let me know when you can see me.
He's considered one of the most terrifying serial killers in the United States. And you.
Hello. Can you hear me? All right, I am back. All right, sorry about that. Let's try this other one. Again, I don't understand these things. When I pull these stories, I filter them through Creative Commons, which is what the rules are with YouTube. But I'm guessing that some of them slip through either that or maybe the very beginning, the trailer, because it was a Netflix scenario. Maybe that's why. So they throw a copyright flag. So I guess we'll try this one and see if this one's okay. My apologies to everybody. You don't see me, Mama Bear? Yeah, I was flagged again, Strike. I don't know why, but okay. Can you see me now, Star? My apologies, guys. I'll just kick this one from the beginning here. I mean, it told you most of the story about him, so we'll see what this gives us. Excuse me. And we'll see if we can take it from here. Hopefully. All right, if you guys can see me, do me a favor and throw a 1 in the chat for me. Just a 1. Pretty please, and thank you all so very much. Again, guys, if you haven't, I'm sure you have, please leave a little DNA on the like button for me. Share this out if you would, and please, if you could, at the end, leave some comments for me. That is most appreciated. And very appreciated. All right, Strike Pink, Bully, Mrs. M, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I got you all here. Looks like everybody can see me again. Good deal. All right, once again, my apologies, everyone. Let's set this one the right way, as always, and hope that everything works out for the best. And like I said, I filter these repeatedly every time I do this, and it's still something about something on it catches it and throws it off. So I'm gonna have to clear this later. You are always team, but interesting to know. Thanks for the info, Strike. You see me now. There must have been a delay on you, Mama Bear. Okay. All right, and let's do this again and try to make it work the right way. Alrighty. Okay. I don't have T-Mobile, no. I have Boost Mobile. For now, I'm hoping I don't have it soon, but all right, here we go.
He's considered one of the most terrifying serial killers in the United States, and you might have never heard of him. Who was the angel of death that inspired the movie The Good Nurse? To his sincere killer the lives of many in his care. Although authorities convicted him of 29 murders, Cullen himself has said that he probably killed 40. Still, many familiar with the case believe that the actual number of murders he committed may be over 300. Sometimes called the Angel of Death, his involvement in possibly hundreds of deaths makes Cullen one of the United States' worst serial killers and most lethal medical professionals. Throughout his 16-year career as a nurse across 9 hospitals, Cullen's behavior raised several red flags, much like doctor-turned-killer Harold Shipman. His first few years at St. Barnabas Medical Center in Livingston, New Jersey were quiet enough until he was let go in 1992. His marriage fell apart shortly afterward, and Cullen seemed to unravel. He found a job at Warren Hospital in Phillips, New Jersey, where he harassed a coworker and later broke into her house, which led to his arrest and an eventual misdemeanor conviction. After this incident, Cullen attempted to take his own life, his second attempt since his time in the U.S. Navy, and received psychiatric care at 2 different facilities. Cullen's crimes are the focus of 2022's The Good Nurse. The film stars Eddie Redmayne as Cullen and Jessica Chastain as Amy Loughran, the real-life nurse who helped put the killer behind bars. Loughran told Newsweek she was left shaking by Redmayne's portrayal of Cullen. Chastain has also received praise for her work.
Eddie Redmayne does such an incredible job, truly channeling my friend Charlie.
Cullen grew up as the youngest of 8 children and was smart but awkward, according to the New York Times. He never really knew his father, who died when he was a baby, and he lost his mother while he was in his last year of high school. Cullen then joined the Navy, but he failed to fit in with his peers and got picked on a lot. After his first suicide attempt in 1984, Cullen was discharged, and he later enrolled at the Mountainside Hospital School of Nursing in Montclair, New Jersey. Cullen's name first became associated with murder in 1993, when a breast cancer patient at Warren Hospital died after receiving an injection from an unknown male nurse. But the autopsy failed to test for what would later become known as Cullen's favorite deadly tool, the heart medication called digoxin. Cullen left the hospital shortly afterward and moved on to other facilities, where he favored night shifts and liked to work in the wards with the most vulnerable patients.
And from the autopsy, we know that a combination of insulin and digoxin were in Kelly's system and led to her death.
In 1998, Cullen also used digoxin on another victim while working at Pennsylvania's Easton Hospital. He even administered the injection in front of the patient's daughter. Cullen's victim died the following morning. But even though his autopsy did show digoxin, the investigation into his death stalled. Cullen was free to move on to other murders at other hospitals. Cullen's crimes seemed to escalate when he worked at Somerset Medical Center in Somerville, New Jersey. There, he killed 13 people and attempted to murder 2 more in 2003. In all of these incidents, Cullen used a syringe and different medications as his form of attack. Cullen told New York Magazine that he was, quote, stopping pain, removing pain by killing. He also added, I didn't know it was illegal. Cullen's killing spree ended in December 2003 when he was arrested for murder and attempted murder. He soon confessed to more killings and assisted in the investigation into his crimes to avoid the death penalty. Cullen also revealed that some of his crimes were random acts of violence, not intended to end suffering. For example, he admitted to injecting drugs into intravenous bags of saline in storage with no regard for who would get these tainted supplies. In an odd twist to Cullen's disturbing story, he also showed an unusual form of charity during the legal proceedings against him, donating a kidney to a former girlfriend's relative in 2006. Not only that, he threatened not to attend his sentencing hearing if he was denied the opportunity to go through with the organ donation. At his sentencing, Superior Court Judge Paul Armstrong told Cullen that he had, quote, betrayed the ancient foundations of the healing professions. Cullen received 11 life sentences for his crimes and is currently an inmate at New Jersey State Prison in Trenton.
Two roommates survived the stand inside.
Okay. Well, that jumped somewhere all. I wasn't expecting that. Interesting. Crazy. Why? Anyway.
He's considered one of the most.
All right, hold on, folks. Let's get rid of this.
He's considered one of the most terrifying serial killers in the United States, and you might have never.
Gotta love it. All right, now, sorry about that, everybody. Now, I'm going to give you, if you haven't seen the movie, you may not understand this, but I'm going to give you an interview, a couple interviews, actually. There was a woman by the name of Amy Loughran that worked with Charlie in the same hospital, the last hospital, I should say, that he worked in before he was arrested. And with that, they became very close friends, and I mean very close friends. And this scenario is so weird. Amy had a hard time, but she's the one that turned him in the end. She went undercover, wearing like a, not undercover, but she wore a wire in certain interactions they had, and she went to the police with this when these things started happening, thinking that, you know, she knew that it was him, and it was him. And so she's the one that worked with police to take him down, and she did. And there's an interview with her, and I'm going to give you some pieces and parts of some other stuff to go with this, so you guys get more of an idea of how things went down. All right, let's see here. All right, folks. I still have issues with this move. Like, this just blew my mind. You know, my mother's a nurse. My wife and my sister both work in the medical fields. My father worked in the medical field. I was in the medical field. My aunt was in the medical field. It's just kind of like, wow, you just don't expect this. You expect to be able to trust doctors and nurses and EMTs and medics and firefighters and police officers and all those people with your lives. And then you have this happen. You know what I mean? It's really crazy.
Just, you know, for
Of course. Hold on a minute. Okay. CC Rider. I was going to do that once before, but he did it already. All right. Hold on, guys. Let me make sure that I'm giving you the audio on this time. All right, there we go. All right, and again, this is Amy Loughran, the nurse that turned Charlie in initially, and like I said, she kind of went undercover while still keeping the relationship with him that she had as a friend. Like, he was watching her kids and did this while she was having like chronic heart issues and things like that too, guys. So it was kind of crazy, to say the very least. So again, let me know how it sounds.
As many as 1,000 people. Amy, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having
I
me.
really do appreciate you. I know 20 years have gone by, but living something like this, experiencing the experiences you've had, it doesn't matter how much time has gone by. So it means a lot for you to be here to share your story.
Thank you. Thank you.
What is it like for you? We just showed that small clip, but you've seen the movie, you know the book. What's it like for you to see what you lived on the screen?
You know, even watching that clip, it's still waves of emotion. I still have to fight back tears because Eddie is so good at his craft that's my friend Charlie. And even though I have healed so much of that trauma, it's still very triggering for me. And I have now screened the movie twice. Each time I just do the ugly cry, and the ending is just, it is so emotional. It's very, very emotional for me.
When they were putting this together, did they come to you, ask you for advice? How much input did you have in this film?
I had quite a bit of input. Christy Wilson-Cairns, who wrote the screenplay, came to see me in upstate New York in Oneonta, and we spent time together so that she could write a better script. And when the script did come out, there were so many changes to it. Right before Tobias started filming, we talked at length about the things that I felt were really important for him to get right. And everything that I said, they changed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, oftentimes when it comes to true stories, whether it's the book or the movie, sometimes they take a poetic license, right, and change it. But it's so important to get it right. And to hear you say that they made those changes based on your input is huge. So you call him Charles. He was a very good friend of yours. Talk a little bit about your friendship and what it was like to have the relationship you had before you found out everything you found out.
Well, he was my work husband. So we worked together almost every shift. He had actually changed his schedule so that we could work together because we were such a good team. And he was one of the only people that I confided in. When I was at work, sometimes I spent more time with him than I did anybody else in my family. Obviously my children, but of anyone else, I really didn't have much of a social life because I was also very sick. So when I was home, all I wanted to do was just be mom and make sure that my health was the most important.
So during this time that you were friends, you were working, you also had a health issue you were dealing with. Are you okay now? Everything?
I am okay now. I was diagnosed while I was working with Charlie. I was diagnosed with an electrical cardiomyopathy, which can be deadly.
Wow.
And yeah, I was lucky enough that the Cleveland Clinic gave me this wonderful surgery, and I am now 17, almost 18 years out from that surgery. So yeah, they saved my life.
Are you worried at all? Sometimes with these movies, Hollywood can glamorize really evil people. Are you worried this will happen in this case?
Tobias Lindholm took such great care to make certain that this story was not about a serial killer. This story is about a friendship of two very flawed humans. My flaws and my secrets went toward the light, and his flaws and his secrets are.
He is a serial killer, by the way. Regardless of what she's saying, he killed possibly over 400 people, folks, by letting people trust him with their lives and then purposely injecting them with medications that will kill them. So she can church it up as much as she wants to. I have a lot of respect for her, but at this point, it is what it is. There's no two ways around it. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, Amy, but no, it's more than what you just said it was.
And we supported each other, and that friendship and the fact that I did care about him and that little sliver of humanity that he still had it's the only reason he's behind bars. And that's the film that Tobias wanted to make. This is not a story about a serial killer. It's a story about humanity and gentleness and friendship and nurses.
How long did you work together? How long was that friendship of yours?
It was only about 1.5 years. It was a lot of trauma bonding, kind of like being soldiers. And you go through horrible situations, life and death situations together. And you bond in a way that you can't describe until you've been there.
What was the first moment where you started to suspect, like, wait a minute, something is off here and something is wrong and he may be to blame for this?
So the real story, the true story, is that I didn't know at all, and I didn't suspect at all until the detectives showed up at the hospital and they had already started their investigation, and I didn't believe them. I wanted to, at first, protect him. I didn't realize how sinister his acts were, and at first I thought perhaps the detectives were there maybe looking for somebody who was stealing narcotics. It didn't even occur to me that somebody may be actually harming patients.
Did you go to him and tell him they're asking me questions?
Oh, no.
You didn't?
No. Danny Baldwin, who was the lead detective in the investigation, he showed me the evidence very early on, and it was just absolutely devastating when I saw the evidence that there's no other reason to pull out the amount of medications that he was pulling out of our Pyxis machine, which is kind of a cash register for drugs. There's no possible way that he could have been using those medications for anything but something very deadly.
I mean, how is it possible that someone was doing this and no one was noticing anything?
Oh, they did notice. There were 5 hospitals that knew he was harming patients and sent him to the next hospital. 5 hospitals.
How? Why?
And that, you guys, I will be honest, blows my mind. The first hospital, when they saw it, they should have fired him. They knew it was a problem, and then they should have they should have went to the board of nursing and had his license revoked immediately, but they didn't. He was allowed to go to 5 hospitals, folks. 400 people, you guys, or more. There's a very possibility that there were more that people didn't know about. I mean, it blows my mind. Like, this is something that's bad. This is something that's wrong with hospital administration, where they're so short on people that they just won't go look deeper. They sweep it under the rug because, and that's true, Cece, because it's going to make their hospital look bad. People aren't going to want to go there because of that scenario. Now, how many people have died due to your negligence? That's an issue for me. It's a very bad issue for me, I'll be honest with you. So, again, unbelievable. Completely unbelievable.
Were these people held accountable?
No, none of them were held accountable. And in fact, in the movie, there is a character who is played beautifully by Kim Dickens. And that particular character is after a real person. And that real person was...
That is just mind-boggling.
It is. It is.
Unbelievable. So I know what it's like when you have disappointment, when you have an expectation of someone, and you have a close friendship, and then you are just...
You're right, Mike, it does.
Like, all this time I thought I knew you, and now I don't even know who you are. It's a very hard thing to digest.
Yeah.
And once you were able to digest that, were you afraid of Charlie?
I can't say that I had any true fear, terror. I think what I was most afraid of was the hospital, because I saw that the hospital was seeing what I saw on that paperwork. So I knew that they knew. And if they didn't know, then that was just as dangerous if they did know. As far as Charlie,
if not more
I used to have
dangerous.
some pretty intense nightmares that he was coming into my home and harming my daughters. He had a history of stalking. And so I was afraid in that sense. But I think I was still pretty well in denial that he would harm me.
Why did you decide to participate with the investigators, and essentially you ended up getting him behind bars? I
don't think that there was any other way. I really I did know after I started working on the investigation that until we could put the syringe in his hand, until we could truly put him next to the patients that were dying, there was no possible way that we were going to be able to convict him or get him behind bars. And all of those, the paperwork,
Here's the thing, guys. With the investigation, the way it worked, what Amy did was she would go into the machine that distributed the medication, okay? And she printed out a report that showed everything that Charlie had done and how much he had pulled, why he had pulled it, or when he had pulled it and what it was for. Well, what he was doing, because it's like a cash register. When you would ring up something and then cancel it, the drawer pops open and then close it. You close it, okay? So he would go in and he would punch in this medication that he needed to get out. And you have to have the patient's name, their birth date, their social security number, I do believe, a patient number, and then your nurse number, your license number, and all that stuff has to go into this, okay, for you to do this. And then what he would do is he'd put all that in, and at the very end, he would hit cancel, and it would pop the drawer, and then he would pull the medication he wanted and shut the drawer. So when the report would read off, it would look like he did that and then it was canceled. So that's what she showed to the investigators. So when the investigators look at it, it shows that he canceled this. There's no proof that he pulled the medications out of the drawer and did anything with them, other than the fact that she had saw him do it once or twice. You know, there's no proof. So there would be nothing to stand up in court against this. Because when the defense presents it, they're going to say, or when the prosecution presents those receipts, per se, we'll call them, or the report, the defense is going to say, okay, but they're canceled, Your Honor. You know what I mean? So what does that do? There was nothing they could do to hold it. So they had to go as far as to get her to wear a wire to try to get him to admit to what he did. And she literally did that. It didn't really work out so well for her. But again, that's how hard they had to push this investigation to prove this kind of thing. And that's how hard it is. If you have any kind of sense about you and you know how to get around the system, you can do this. My mother told me, she was a nurse for 40 years, that this happened before this machine came out. People were doing this all the time. They were just pocketing things and taking things, and people are looking like, you can't prove who took it. You know what I mean? You can have an idea of it, but unless you have visual proof, you cannot accuse that person, nor can you say that that person did it. So what are you going to do? You know, that's why they invented these machines, so that there is a calculated written receipt for each time medications were pulled. Well, when you figure out how to get around the system, there it is. There it goes. So, she actually wore a wire and went and talked to him as friends and did a very good job of it, you know, and, you know, this is where it went from there, as I'm sure she's going to explain here in a minute. I just was giving you the ins and outs of how the investigation part of it went down.
all of medical records. It's a language that if you don't speak it, it's such a foreign language, and it's so harsh. And I really felt like I was the only person that could really see what was happening with him.
So he was sentenced to 400 years. Have you visited him in jail? Have you had any contact? Once he found out you had helped with his investigation, did he ever reach out to you?
Well, Charles Graeber's book, The Good Nurse, which is brilliant, it came out in 2013, and it was sent to Charles Cullen. So after that, he hasn't answered my letters. Prior to that, I did visit him in prison. We were, at that time, we were working with 60 Minutes to do a piece on Charles Cullen and the book, The Good Nurse. And he didn't know that I was working for the prosecution until the book came out.
Did you ever ask why? Why did he do this?
I did, and I had conversations with him. Charlie would not say the word murder. He wouldn't talk about it. However, knowing him and knowing about other serial killers, I believe that it was an obsessive compulsive disorder that just went awry, and he was compelled to kill. He was not a mercy killer. He enjoyed killing. You could see that he was proud of his kills when he confessed to me, and he was.
All right, Star. Have a great night. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing?
Well, with everything happening now with the movie and talking about it a lot, I couldn't have done this even if it was 10 years ago. I wouldn't have been able to do this. I'm 20 years out now. I am 20 years wiser. I am able to forgive myself for not seeing this sooner. And I think having this platform to be able to apologize to the families that I didn't see sooner, I wish I had. I felt a lot of guilt and a lot of embarrassment that I didn't see how dark he was, and I didn't know that he was harming people, and I felt so bad about that.
Wait a minute. So you, for many years, you have felt that burden that you hadn't seen the clues and you could have potentially saved people's lives. You felt that. You feel that.
There were several instances when I found out through the evidence that he had actually murdered people right in front of me. And I didn't see it. My mind didn't go there. I noticed that he did things that I questioned, but because he was so brilliant and he was one of the best nurses I ever worked with, I didn't question him in the way that I might have questioned another nurse. I trusted him. And we had that bond, that very trusting bond. So I didn't leap from, gee, I wouldn't have done it that way, to, oh my God, I think he's murdering someone. You don't make that paradigm shift unless somebody tells you that there's a murderer right there. You can't make that leap. It just doesn't make any sense.
Have you ever reached out to the victims' families?
I haven't, and part of that was because I was a confidential informant.
Gotcha.
They didn't know anything about me. I did meet a couple of the victims' families when the book came out, and it was very emotional, and it was hard for me to really make eye contact with them because I felt so much guilt, and I was able to at least apologize to them. And I think right now with this movie coming out, and there's also a beautiful documentary coming out, a very chilling documentary coming out. I feel like with this particular platform, I can also give a voice to the victims, because unfortunately, a lot of people believe that he was a mercy killer. So many of those patients were seen as just being put out of their misery. It was not seen as something brutal. And the tactics in which Charles Cullen murdered these people, it was brutal, and it was awful, and it was terrifying. And his victims were not all old, and he robbed their opportunity to recover from their illnesses. And he robbed those families of being able to have more time with them. And he did that in a brutal way. So I want to give a voice back to those patients and those victims, because they deserve that, and the families deserve that.
That makes sense as to why you're doing what you're doing. Thank you so much once again for being here. Really, really appreciate it. I want to let people know the Good Nurse is available.
Listen, there's not any way to even mistake that. In the movie, one of his patients at Parkland Hospital, there was nothing wrong with her. Nothing at all. She was young. She just had a baby. Okay. So there was nothing wrong with her to where she needed any kind of like mercy given to her. There was no, horrible disease or anything that she needed that for. He was doing this just to do this, folks, because he enjoyed it. He got some kind of a high out of this, or got off on this somehow. And it's freaking weird, and it's sick. So yeah, there's no mercy about this at all. Mercy would have been letting people live. 400 people, you guys. I can't fathom that. It keeps coming back to my mind. 400 or more, but it's at the bottom number, at least 400 people. What? That's a city. That's a small town. It is 400 people. That's a small town gone, because he had to have this power. It's crazy, you guys. Completely crazy.
To stream on Netflix right now. We'll be right back.
Absolutely crazy, folks. Crazy. Cray.
Just, work's been pretty awful without you there.
Cray.
Let
Let me see here. I have give me here. Where'd it go? Here it is. Let me give you a sentencing. When he was sentenced, I want you to hear this, folks, and see this as well. And as you all know, some of these stories that I give you guys, I can only give you so much because only so much is allowed on YouTube. And they only give me so much when I filter it through the thing that I can give you guys. So that's effing crazy. Really, 400. No one noticed anything strange. Well, that's the thing, Kiki. I'm glad you said that. 5 hospitals that we know of, they all noticed it, but they didn't do anything about it until the very end when the police finally said, okay, you know what I mean? There were people that communicated between hospitals and they said, okay, is this what happened? And that's what happened. And luckily this nurse knew somebody from the other hospital that he worked with, and they talked. They met for lunch one day, they talked, and she started to catch on after talking to, because this girl said, they thought that he overdosed people, and then he left. So, right, PPR. 400 people could be your entire town. They're gone. That's pure insanity to me, you guys. It really is. We've dealt with serial killers that have killed 17 people and 7 people, 5 people, 4 people, and think that's horrid. This dude killed 400 people. It's a tribe, an island. I can't fathom 400 people. and just continuously got away with it because these hospitals were too lazy to take notice of what was going on and fix it, basically. Okay. It just makes me sick, guys. It does. It bothers me to no end. All right, guys, let me give you guys the sentencing for Mr. Charles CULLEN, the good nurse serial killer. Sorry, that's what I call him. I don't know, Kiki. I don't understand why the hospitals did not do well. I do understand to an extent. 1, they didn't want to draw attention to the hospital and give it a bad name. 2, they've always been shorthanded. Okay. 3, I think just laziness. That's my opinion. I'll be honest with you. And it's really sad that 400 people had to lose their lives. Dude definitely went up Dexter. That ain't no lie, bro. This makes Dexter look like a kindergartner. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
One day, without you even knowing it, your life will end. And what legacy will you have, sir? A serial murderer, serial killer. You ruin the lives of your family, your children, and many people in this courtroom. You've bloodied and stained the medical profession. Absolutely abhorrent what you did, sir.
Your Honor, count 4 charges the defendant with the murder of...
He had 2 daughters, by the way, too. Can you imagine what they probably think or feel? 2 daughters. No. And the sad part with this whole thing is this guy was a great nurse. Of course, when he wasn't unaliving people, he was an amazing nurse, one of the best ever in his profession. And he does this with that talent. Do you know what I'm saying? Not everybody can be a good healthcare worker. Not everybody can be a good doctor. Not everybody can be a good nurse. Not everybody can be a good paramedic. You have to have bedside manner, intelligence, common sense, all of those things. He had everything except the fact that he was a serial killer. Sad lass, right? What the hell? Jesus, what a mess.
And I still can't really comprehend it. A registered nurse who is supposed to be a caretaker took the life of my brother for his own personal, selfish, and twisted gain. Charles Cullen, you are a coward. I am very brave for standing here today, but you yet cannot even look me in the eye and face me.
Cullen, we are gathered here today essentially to hear from the families. You are hereby sentenced to New Jersey State Prison to 2 consecutive life sentences, which, with the application of the No Early Release Act, that is NJSA 2C:43-7.2, mandates a period of 85%, or approximately 127 and a half years of parole ineligibility.
No. All he cares about is himself and his own children. He doesn't care what he did to our children.
He finally can rest in peace.
Just, you know, work spend.
I'm sorry. I always do that, you guys. I just don't understand it, you guys. Like, some people can't make it through nursing school. You know, there's not always a lot of healthcare workers. What's up, Boone? Good to see you. My ears broke. How'd that happen, dear? Thanks for joining us, hon. And then you have pieces of shit like this that are just wasting it. I got you, Pamela. I'm sorry. I don't know, guys. It makes me sick to my stomach. Working in the healthcare profession like I did, I worked alongside of nurses and doctors, and you have people like this. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why? Why? So, there it is, folks. That's all I can put out because I wasn't able to use the other video for whatever reason. I'm sorry. I filtered it. It still wasn't acceptable, so my apologies, everyone. Oh, you couldn't hear me. I'm sorry, Booty. It's all right. Thanks for joining us tonight, hon. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything in regards to this gentleman? Well, he's not a gentleman in my opinion. He's a piece of garbage. But in regards to this piece of garbage, Mikey says, kind of like people that can't have kids and they harm their kids. You're absolutely right. This world is definitely not going to get any better. Well, I don't want to believe that, Mikey. I want to believe that they can't, that we will get better as a whole, as a people. It's just, we all have to work at it together, brother. And that's my opinion. I believe we can do it. I believe we can get better as a whole and as a people. I think we can make things better. We all have to do it. We all have to, put in on it. We all have to make an attempt to make it better. That's just how it has to be, or it's not going to happen. You're right. So, I don't know, guys. It's sad. There's a big bubble, bro. It's a big bubble. You ain't lying. Does anybody happen to have any suggestions for Thursday night? Anybody. There really are. And I thank you, Boone, for saying that. There are a lot of good people in this world. I mean, this entire community, you guys, all of you guys are amazing people. You're all amazingly beautiful people. You have beautiful hearts, beautiful souls. I can't sit to believe that we are the only people left on this planet. There's more people like all of you. There's so many people like you. Okay. It's just that there's so many bad people that it outweighs the good people, sadly. And that's what the problem. And guys, it's not always about bad people. We've talked over and over again in regards to mental health. Mental health causes people to become other people. I don't think I've ever said the word people this many times in my life, just so you know. But mental health will cause someone to become a different person that they've never been. And that's where the problem lays in a lot of census folks, is that mental health is not being treated the right way. It's not being, looked at seriously. There's no facilities for people to be in-house treated, as we've talked about millions of times. And that's where this is all coming from, guys. We have these mass shootings that are happening due to bad mental health. Okay. Good people can go bad at a very flip of a switch. You have to understand that we're human beings, and we run on chemicals in our brains. Our brain is our machine. That's what runs us. And if that brain does not work right all the time, it causes us to do things that we should not do. And that's another point. Thank you, Boone. Good people do bad things, and bad people do good things. It happens, folks. It happens. There's horrible people out there, guys, that are horrible inside and out, but they do have good parts of their heart. And there's people that are the absolute most beautiful people you'll ever meet in your life, and will go do something wrong. It just happens, guys. It's human nature in a lot of senses. This scenario, though, this is cold-blooded, heartless murder. Okay. There's no two ways about it. If this guy, he went through some trauma through his life. I get it. I get that. And a lot of people have. A lot of us have been through some kind of trauma in our lives. But we don't go out and unalive people, guys. There's the difference. Okay? Blatant difference. That's it. Drug use is yes, April. And that has become a huge problem. A huge problem. Drug use. Well, and here's, what this all, listen to me. Bear with me, folks. Drug use is also a factor, April says. These are facts. Okay? Well, guess what? People use drugs to self-medicate over mental health, guys. You get it? You get it? My son, I'll even tell you, my son, not my youngest, not my oldest of my biological boys, okay? My middle child, he is bipolar, very possibly schizophrenic, will not go see a doctor. ADHD, oppositional defiant disorder, all of those things, and will not see a doctor. He's an adult, 26 years old, and he self-medicates, smoking marijuana daily, all day long. If he were to go get the right help, and he's still a mean person, in his relationships. He's just not a nice kid, okay? He's very angry at the world. He's very upset with life. He feels like the world owes him something. This is why we don't have an ongoing relationship. We talk, and he knows I love him, and I support his good decisions. End of story. But I will not go any further than that because of the way he treats his wife and his daughter. I do not agree with it, and he doesn't want to hear what I have to say, so we just don't talk about that thing. Hi, bye, Dad. How are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. Okay, bye. That's the end of it. Merry Christmas. Happy Easter. Happy birthday. That's the extent of our relationship right now. Because I told him, when you go to a doctor and you go and you deal with your issues, I'll be standing there waiting. Until then, I can't. I can't support this. I will always be there for you. I will always have your back when I know that you're right. And I'll always love you. That's where I draw the line. I can't do it because he knows what he needs to do to fix this. Okay. And he knows that what he does in the back of his mind is wrong. Okay. He knows that he doesn't treat people right. He knows all of these things because of the way he was raised. But he does not choose to make the correct choices and to go have it handled. And like I've said before, I love you, son. I'll always love you, and I will always be here for you when you need me. But I cannot co-sign you being that way, you not going and getting help, knowing that you're that way, and thinking that smoking weed for the rest of your life is going to cover your issues. It's not. And there it lies. And so it will. It's okay. That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct, Brandy. He has to want to do it. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with him at this point. And he doesn't want to accept the fact that his behaviors and his thoughts and his actions are not okay. He doesn't, his phrasing is I don't care what people think. I don't care what this is and that, and I don't care what the police think. And it's all about him. He's very selfish right now. And I have a bad feeling that he's going to have to hit rock bottom before, and something will probably have to happen. And then he will see it, and then he will go and he will get help. God bless him. I love him. I pray for him every night. And I will continue to do that. And my granddaughter, absolutely. That's it. That's all I can do. And that's all I'll ever be able to do. So they're right, Mike. It's what a lot of people do this. They self-medicate because they don't like the way what the medication does to them. Whatever it is, they don't like it. They don't want to take it. They don't want to have to be told what to do or how to live their lives. They think that it's better to live your life by your own rules because then you're in control of it. And that's what it's all about. Usually it's a control issue, guys. So you do what you got to do. I've done that as well, Kiki. Did the same thing with my oldest child, and I finally had to say, you know what? That's enough. You're old enough. It's your time to stand on your own 2 feet and do your thing. And he did. And I love you just as much, CC. Thank you, Pink. And Mikey, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I absolutely am. This is what life is all about at this point, folks. We just have to muddle through it and hope that things work out in the end. So anyway, enough about me and everything else. I was explaining that because it's the best way to explain it. Did anybody have any thoughts or ideas for Thursday before we moved on? We can always take what was the loser from last week again? I'm trying to remember. Wait a minute. Oh yeah. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go with To Catch a Killer, which is the John Wayne Gacy story. One moment. Yeah, and that does do that, Mikey. I hate to say that, brother, but it does. I've told you guys before that people, the most beautiful people on the planet, can be the ugliest people in the world because of what's inside of them. So thank you, April. I appreciate that as well. And love you just as much as well. I understand, Kiki. I know that story too, hon, and I am so sorry that you've had to go through that. I absolutely am. That is a fact, Booney. I've seen the most gorgeous women and the most handsome men open their mouths and become the ugliest people I've ever seen in my life. These are facts, folks. These are facts. All right. Right, Mike. I got you, bro. I got you, brother. I've been sad lately because my cat is getting old. I'm not sure how much longer I'll have time with him. Well, I know the feeling, buddy. I'm sorry to hear that. Oscar, my dog, you all know, I've realized that now, we've realized that he has congestive heart failure and he's in stage 4. So he is not going to be here very much longer now. That's going to be a hard day, guys. A very hard day. Especially for my wife. She's not going to handle that very well at all. At all. Yeah. Yep, that is what it is. Sadly, Boone. I knew. I knew. Well, he's holding water, like fluid right now. He's swelled up, like puffed out, and he's coughing when he's laying down. He wheezes. I mean, he's just it's that time, guys. Like I said, it's stage 4 CHF and it's bad. So, all right, guys. 1 second here. Let me get the poll set up. There's another one I've been wanting to do for a while, which is actually, it's a great movie just to watch. Okay. Yeah, that's the only thing you can do is give him some kind of antibiotics. I know. But he's 18 years old. I mean, you know what I mean? I knew it was kind of heart related, you know, but we looked into it a little bit more and Pam, I'm so sorry, hon. I am so sorry. All right. Here, let me get this thing set up for you guys. 18 people here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let's see. I appreciate you guys so much. Yeah, I will have to see if I can do that, Boone. I'll definitely try that out. All right, folks. So what we're going to do tonight, as far as the poll, is we have 2 movies to choose from. The first movie is called, To Catch a Killer. It's the true story in regards to John Wayne Gacy. The secondary movie is called Frozen Ground. Okay, it's a movie that stars Nicolas Cage. Great movie, and it's about the serial killer, Robert Hansen, or Robert the Butcher Hansen, they called him. He killed 17 people. This happened in Alaska. Again, serial killer, and great movie, guys. Before I was even into this kind of stuff, I loved the movie. I mean, I love Nicolas Cage, I'll be honest with you, but it's great movie to see. So we're going to start off with polling on the Gacy movie, see what you guys say. If you guys would please excuse me for one moment, and I will be right back. And I'm back. Make sure you're voting, everybody. Again, while we're waiting, guys, for those of you that were here early this afternoon, I want to thank you so very much. It was an amazing stream. I was so impressed with it. And all of you for showing up. We had 169 people in chat at one given time, folks. Excuse me. That stream brought in 1,100 views while I was live, everybody. We are now at 1,669 subscribers, I believe. So it was a very, very successful stream. There was a lot of good questions. We had some callers that called in. It was a very, very good stream, guys. I was very impressed, very happy with it. I felt accomplished, and we've gained some new people, I believe. So it's great. It was great, and thank you all for being part of that. As always, you guys are the core to this family, into this community. And I love you guys to death for that. And I appreciate you guys for everything you do to support this channel. I really, really do. And that goes for every single one of you guys. Every single one of you guys. I cannot stress to you how grateful I am to you, all of you, for sticking around, for staying with me, and for just being who you guys are. I really appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. I don't know about that, Booney, but I know today I was very happy with this scenario and the outcome. Thank you, Pamela. I appreciate that as well. That's right, Mikey. Thank you, Cece. Thank you, Brandy. And Pink always wanted a pole dance. So be it. So be it. How can we dance? Oh, Boone, I love you. You are so funny. We miss having you in here on the regular. Like we do get you. I know you gotta work and you gotta be busy. I get it. I do. But you know, whatever you're doing, I understand and we appreciate. I appreciate you. We appreciate you for being part of the community, Booney. We do. Thank you, Pink. I appreciate that as well. And Mike, I appreciate you more than you guys could ever appreciate me. I know that for a fact. But thank you, brother. Thank you so very much. You guys make my day and you make my week, my month, my year. So, with Gacy, we have 69% yes, 30 no. Oh, interesting. And the next one, again, is Frozen Ground. Nicolas Cage. And this is for Thursday, guys. So if you get a chance, check it out. I think you had 25 new subscribers today. I had more than that, CC. I had more than that. When we went into the stream to start the stream, I was at 1,555 subscribers. Okay. And let me show you something, guys. One moment. Uno momento. Hold on. Let me show you something, guys. 1,559, I believe it was, when I went into the live stream this afternoon at 12:19. I think I started, or roughly. Remember that number, 1,559. Okay. When I ended the stream, that's where I was actually a few more up. I think it was 16:29 when I ended the stream. Okay. It shows that I have plus 174 subscribers, and that was within the last 28 days. But all of that has happened in the past week. Okay. We're definitely growing, folks. We're definitely getting our name out there, and we are definitely becoming an important channel. And I'm doing it the way I wanted to do it. I'm doing it slowly. I didn't want to just blow up overnight because that's no fun. HVAC, so I can't listen. No, I understand, Boone. It's okay. It's absolutely, absolutely okay. I understand completely. I told you, it's no worry. Another point, guys. The stream that we did today, at this point, it has 1.2 thousand views. 109 likes, okay? I mean, seriously? Seriously. Amazing stuff, folks. I am so grateful. I know a lot of creators don't share their analytics or their stats with people, but you guys, this is your channel, folks. All I do is run this for you, okay? That's all I do. This is your channel. So, what can I say? I am beyond grateful for each one of you guys. Each and every one of you guys, no lie. Wow, that was quick. That one is done, and it went full 100%. So let's see. Looks like it might be this one. Answer 100% said Frozen Ground. Okay, so that ends that one. Frozen Ground it is. Nicolas Cage and Frozen Ground, guys. Here, let me give you a... Let me give you something here. 1 second. And again, I would recommend this movie if we weren't even doing this, just to watch. But hold on a second. let's see here. I'm going to show you guys a trailer real quick of the movie, and you decide if you want to watch it. But I'm telling you, it is so worth. It's got a great storyline to it. It is absolutely amazing. And of course, it's based on Robert Hansen, the butcher, the true story. Here you go. All right.
Yeah. What just happened?
There's been another murder.
Found her last night.
This one of your missing persons?
That could be. She's late teens, maybe early 20s.
She's not missing anymore. What do you make of this?
Ever tried to saw a bone with a flat blade? Say someone tried to remove her head.
Well, she's someone's. We're looking for a white male, early 40s, history of sexual assault, and avid hunter. That's Hanson.
I need more.
Or he's gonna walk. I'm gonna see if you have the guts to be honest.
You think you can threaten me? You don't have any idea who I am.
Have you ever seen anybody do anything like this before?
No, welcome, Lena. No, Annie, this is on Monday and Thursday nights. I do a little thing. It's been kind of nicknamed the Midnight Series. What I do is we pick twice a week. We pick 2 separate movies that have been made based on true crime stories, okay, that are true. And then I come out and I tell the true story behind that crime movie, okay? And that's an older movie, but it's based on the true story about the serial killer Robert the Butcher Hansen. And this all took place in Alaska. He killed 17 people. Thank you, Miss Brandy. And it's a great movie, guys. It really is, to see at the very least. So that's what's going on Thursday night, folks. Besides that, I will be live tomorrow at 12:30. And we will be jumping into part 2 of going back to Moscow and revisiting that scenario to see if there's anything else we may have missed. And thank you so much, Annie, today for your call in. I appreciate you so very much. Everybody appreciates and respects your theories and opinions. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there tomorrow and very possibly having you call in again. You did a great job today, and I really appreciate you so very much for that. And I'm so glad to see you. Looks like you've become a member already too. Are you a meatball already, Miss Annie? That's awesome. So it's great to have you in the community. It's great to have you in the family, and I'm hoping that you stick around for a long time. I think you'll come to like it here a lot. Most people do. Not toot my own horn, but I think we have an absolute amazing community here, Annie. Everybody is here for everybody, okay? And as am I. But like I said, this is your guys' channel. I just run it for everybody. And I am so proud of this community and the people that are here. And I appreciate and love each and every one of you guys 100% for what you do to support this channel and for how you guys help me be the voice for the voiceless and to try and figure these crimes out and to bring these people home and to get true justice for these cases, folks, because that's what we do. Again, we will be going here and there. We will be jumping back in and revisiting Summer's case again, just to keep it hot, throwing extra tips here and there, different pieces of stuff out, in between what we're doing with this Koberger case and other cases that we have looked into and will continue to look into as we keep going and we keep growing. And again, I just formally wanted to welcome you, Annie, and I hope that you're around for a long time, and we appreciate you being here for sure. Thanks so much. I'm so very interested in this going over the true crime movie with the real story. That's a great idea. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an idea that I had thought about a long time ago. One of our moderators is kind of taking a break right now, Miss Heather. She said, we should do this. So we're doing it. We're on episode number 25. So we've done 25 of them. Sadly, you've missed all the good ones probably, but you can always go back and check them out. And there's so many more to do. And it doesn't always have to be about serial killers. There's a lot we're going to touch on. Donnie Brasco, the movie Blow. There's a lot of other types of movies that are about true crime that, there's true stories behind it. So we will continuously keep doing these. I'm sorry. We also, just so you know, we're going to be I'll be having a movie night. I haven't figured out how often and when, but when you become a member, and I know it's kind of corny, but a meatball, and you end up in the channel in the sauce, you have a link that you're offered to become part of the Discord. Okay, and it's only members only. And one of the moderators can link you to the Discord, considering that you're a member, get you in there to the sauce, the channel's called, because we're all meatballs, and I'll explain that to you some other day. And what we're going to do here is we're able to watch full-length movies. I can, host a movie for everybody that comes into the chat, and we will link it into the Discord and watch full-length movies together, whether they be crime movies, whatever they're going to be. It's just something we can do together as a whole, as a channel. And it's a fun thing to do. So that's members as well, members only as well. So being a member, you have that option. So there's just a few of the perks about being of some of the perks about being a member in this channel is all I'm saying. And I appreciate you being interested in the whole movie thing as well. Well, I'm just saying, some people think because all the subscribers have a name in here, but you guys kind of named yourselves. Absolutely. Any no worries whatsoever. Just giving you the options that being a member gives you. That's all. If you're not interested in the Discord, that's perfectly fine. No worries whatsoever. I think that's about it, everybody. Did anybody have anything for me? Any questions, comments, anything? Again, guys, like I said, tomorrow between 12 noon or 12:30 p.m., I will be right back here, jumping right back into the University of Idaho murders case and Brian Kohberger's case. We have some new info to throw out there as well. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I hope you are all there. Absolutely all there. If anybody that's in here that's new, that might be new, if you have any questions, feel free to go to any of the... Did I miss the movie? The real story cover? Yeah, yes. Yeah, it happened earlier on in the stream, Andy. I'm sorry about that. For tonight, it was the... it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, usually. I usually wait around a little bit to try to get most everybody in here that I can, but it was tonight. There was the true story behind the movie The Good Nurse. Charles Cullen's, which is a serial killer. He was a nurse. He ended up killing over 400 people just by the power of him being a nurse. But you could always go back and catch it again, Annie, if you're interested. It did get blocked. In the beginning, I try to filter these things, and they always screw me up. So I do apologize again, guys, for some of that. I gave you the best I could on that one. So tonight's, it wasn't a really great one. I'll be honest. I wasn't super pleased with it. But the rest, obviously the next one should be better. Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be that one. But of course, I should see most of you guys that morning before, and I will remind you then. I got a lot of things to get together reminder tags and so on and so forth that I'll be hooking the moderators up with. They can throw out there. Also, you can always see it on the community page for the main channel, and so on and so forth. So, does anybody have any questions for me at all? Any issues, any problems, anything at all you'd like to bring to my attention? Anything you want to talk about? Anything at all before I get out of here? And once again, I really have to stress, guys, that today was a great stream. It was we grew a lot today. I am so happy and impressed with everything, and I just want to thank you all personally for that. And Miss Jules, once again, I have to say thank you to Jules, to Michelle Lee for recommending my channel, that brought everybody in here. And I got to thank the algorithm. We finally made it out into the right algorithm, guys, and people were coming from all over the place. And I absolutely am so, so happy about it, and respect everybody for everything they do for this channel. Anybody that donated to the channel to support the channel, because again, sadly, I am totally crowdfunded, so I do appreciate all of that as well. I don't know if anybody did, but I just want to let the appreciation out right away, knowing that it is appreciated, guys. Absolutely, Miss Annie. I am looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. You have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye. All right. I guess that'll be much. Once again, you are, change the thing about yourselves, because you are the beautiful people, guys. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Have a great rest of your night, folks. If I don't see you before tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one, folks. Bye-bye.